Well, hello, and a very warm welcome to the Carstairs Junction Community Action Plan virtual tea. So, do you have your cup at the ready? Have you got your tea ready to pour? Well, I hope so, because this is a brilliant opportunity for you to sit round, share your views, and allow us to gather information about the Carstairs Junction Community Action Plan. So before we go any further, my name's Lynda Johnstone, and I'm going to be talking you through a few of the things that we have been doing in Carstairs Junction in order to gather information and views about the Carstairs Action Plan. This presentation will have a bit of information for you at the start, but then I'm going to be asking you to fill out some priorities and questions by voting on the poll here on Facebook. Don't worry, I'll take my time and I'll go as slow as I possibly can. And if you do miss this presentation today, then it's fine, because it's going to be live for the next week, and you can certainly take part that way. The other way, and I'll give you my telephone number at the end, is that if you've got any issues or anything you would like to discuss, we can do that over the telephone. So I'm hoping that you're all safe, and I'm hoping that you're all well, and I'm hoping that this presentation today is just a bit of a change to your lockdown activities that you will have been doing for the last week. So you're going to see me moving around a bit because I've got some notes, so hopefully it'll not be too distracting for you. Okay, so Community Action Lanarkshire contracted myself at Community Enterprise to deliver the Carstairs Junction Community Action Plan. This has all been funded by Leader from 2018, and what we aim to do at Community Enterprise is provide the community capacity building support for people to take part. Now, Community Action Lanarkshire provide community capacity support in both South Lanarkshire and North Lanarkshire. Now, they've been really active because there's already been some plans published in Caldercrew, Green Gaires, Hart Hill, the Plains and Upperton in North Lanarkshire, as well as Lesmahago in South Lanarkshire. And as well as Carstairs Junction here at the moment, there's additional plans for Sandford and Upper Avonsdale and Kirkfield Bank. So these are all going to be published over the next few months. But I'm here to tell you a little bit more about what's happening in South Lanarkshire. So I've said that I'm Lynda, I'm from Community Enterprise, but who are Community Enterprise? Well, we're a social enterprise development organisation that's been established for well over 28 years. We support community groups and voluntary organisations and social enterprises throughout the whole of Scotland, from Orkney down to Dumfries and Galloway. And over the years, we've provided in excess of 400 organisations with support in both urban and rural communities. We're strategically linked with the Scottish Government and other national organisations, and we employ a range of staff with different specialisms. So enough about me and Community Enterprise. Let's talk about the Community Action Plan. Well, the Community Action Plan in South Lanarkshire came together because a group of local people identified that they would like to do more and for the community, and that's through the Welcome All Hub. Okay, the Welcome All Hub acknowledged that to do some research would help them decide what their priorities are for the future in Carstairs Junction. Excuse me, that's not a dry cough. It's just that I'm talking too much cough. Anyway, so the steering group have been meeting regularly since Christmas, and are working with Community Action Lanarkshire and Community Enterprise to gather views and information. So when we've gathered all that information, we're going to write it into an action plan, which is going to last from 2020 to 2025. And in basic terms, the action plan is just an approach which shows all the key priorities and what we need to do about it in Carstairs Junction in order to make it a reality. So what we've had to do as part of that is look at what the challenges have been and what people like about the area so that we can fairly represent that in the action plan. The action plan will be really useful going forward, especially as groups within Carstairs Junction might want to apply for funding, because that will give funders quite a bit of confidence that groups know the area. Then the other things that it can help is the development of projects and initiatives, and it can also give insight into the community. So let's find out more. What did we do in Carstairs Junction? Well, first of all, we pulled together quite a lot of data and information that we were able to analyse. We used that information and we pulled together some consultation events, which I'll come on to talk about later, as well as some asset mapping. So this is a chance now for us to talk to you about all that information we've gathered and discuss the vision, themes and projects. Then what we'll do is a research report which will all be graphically designed and will become a live document later in the next couple of weeks. So one of the things that we did that I talked about was some data analysis. And we did a report through Community Insight to look at the demographics of Carstairs Junction. So did you know that since 2011 the population has decreased in Carstairs Junction from 750 down to 640? Now, of working age people, who are aged 16 to 65, about 2/3 are in some form of employment. There's about 122 children under the age of 15 and 96 people over the age of 65. Now, in terms of what your tenure, the housing tenure, about 47 people rent their house or home from South Lanarkshire Council, and similarly about 47% own their home. The rest probably rent through the private rented sector. Okay, so what else we know is that there's a lovely school in Carstairs Junction that has a capacity of up to 110 pupils, but currently there's about 74 pupils who attend. It's a highly respected school, and people have said as part of the survey that it's a very welcomed resource within the community. What the Community Insight report was also able to tell us is that in the ages 16 to 74, there is a slightly lower educational attainment compared to the South Lanarkshire wide and also to the Scottish average. But it also tells us as well that there's a lower crime rate in Carstairs Junction compared to South Lanarkshire and the rest of Scotland. So they're just some of the statistics that you may or may not have known about in Carstairs Junction. And if you'd like to find out any more of those, then please let me know. So what did we do then as part of the consultation and the research? Well, in the new year, we launched a community survey. And people have been fast and furious and filling in their surveys either online or on paper, and 8% return rate for people in the community who have filled that in, and for that I'm really grateful because that's helped with the research. Over and above that, we launched the whole community action plan process at the beginning of February at a community ceilidh in the hall in Carstairs Junction. It was a really lovely event where families and neighbours came together to enjoy some nice Scottish food and some dancing and entertainment. There's a video of the community ceilidh that you can access on this site, or it's also on YouTube. So why don't you have a look to see who you recognise there dancing and strutting their stuff. Community Enterprise also have been in contact with what we call a whole range of stakeholders who have got an interest in the local community at Carstairs Junction. So we've spoken to key council staff, the NHS, education, and the list goes on. But in speaking to stakeholders, it's also important that we spoke to local people. So we've given them the opportunity through the lunch club in the hall, and also focus groups to come and speak to us. And where anybody was happy to, I also had a chat with them on the street. So thank you if you've been involved in that. So the main areas that are important to people as part of all that feedback can be categorised into 4 subject headings. So housing and neighbourhood management. So what people were telling us there was sometimes they get frustrated about the way in which houses are allocated, or they don't understand the council's plans for maintenance or capital works. That's like kitchens and bathrooms and roofs, that sort of thing. But also people told us that they're a little bit worried about how the neighbourhood management is poor, i.e. rubbish and it's not very tidy, like grass verges needing cut, that sort of thing. The next category from all the feedback is about worries about roads and transportation. Some people feel that the roads are not in a good state, but over and above that, they don't feel safe in some of the pavements. And some people have also indicated that they feel that the bus service is poor and could be better. And of course, you'll know at Carstairs Junction, there's everything, lots of plans for Carstairs Junction Station, and things associated with that include the new park and ride, which I'm sure will be very busy, and any other future plans for parking going forward. The leisure and outdoor space was also something that came up. Monteith Park has people feel very sad that it's not used to its same potential, but also that there's areas within Carstairs Junction that could be improved. Is community resources. So what we mean by that is the use of the hall, the shops, and everything that's around activity-wise for people to go to. People are clear that the Londis shop in Carstairs Junction provides a very valuable service, and they're very grateful for that, but there's also a lack of variety. And in particular, people have said that they would really welcome the opportunity for some sort of community cafe. We know we've got Healthy Valleys that come into the hall and provide a lovely lunch on a Monday, but people would like something a little bit more than that. Okay, but you have your choice later in the presentation in order to vote on those priorities. Okay. I'm just going to now get you the chance to be able to vote on your priorities, which I now have a technical hitch and all my questions have disappeared. Okay, so let's not be put off by that. Okay, let's think about and how you can comment on the Facebook page at Community Action Lanarkshire about what your priorities are. So let's think about housing and neighbourhoods first of all. So 3 things that we could do to help you address the problems around the housing and neighbourhoods could be like actions that you could take. So one is setting up a tenants and residents association to influence decision making and have community engagement in housing. The second is find out more about how the council allocates housing and hear the future plans for council housing. And the third is improve the neighbourhood and environment, including green spaces, the verges, perhaps a litter pick, that sort of thing. So if you are able to comment and you're able to choose what your top priority out of those three are, please can you comment now? So I'm going to hold the screen in front of you to see if you can perhaps see them. Okay, so did you manage to choose what was important to you? Setting up a tenants and residents association, or finding out more about how the council manages its houses, or 3, improving the neighbourhood and environment. So once you've chosen your top selection, we want to give you another chance to vote on a second selection. So if you were to choose again, your second choice, what would that be? Okay, so if people need more time or would like to see other ways in which they can vote, then I'll give you details at the end of this presentation. But now we're going to move on to roads and transportation. So there are 3 areas that you can vote on here. Okay, 1 is an improved local bus service. 2 is to improve road safety in the area, and 3 is to develop opportunities for active travel, and by that I mean like being able to cycle in the area and also to have walkways, you know, getting children to school, that sort of thing. So can you choose your top priority from improving the local bus service, road safety, or active travel? And I'll hold those up again for you now. Okay, so similar to the last question, now's your chance to choose your second priority. So if your first was to promote active travel, and you might have a second choice, for example, to improve the local bus service, then if you can put that down. Okay, I'm brilliant. I'm seeing some comments coming in, so this is really good. I really appreciate that you're following with our little technology glitch there. Okay, so you're able to vote. So I'll just hang with you for another 2 or 3 minutes while we talk about roads and transportation. So your first priority out of improved local bus service, road safety or active travel, and then have a think about your second priority and choose between improved local bus service, road safety and active travel. Brilliant. Okay, so now we're going to go on and talk about leisure and outdoor space. So there are Carstairs Junction is in a beautiful part of the world with lots of outdoor space around, and people really appreciate that and the beauty of the countryside. So people have told us that, but they feel that things could be better for them. So we've got three areas that I would like you to vote on or tell us what your priorities are. So the first is to develop walking and cycle paths to make the most of the wooded space, so the woodland and countryside space. The second is to improve and rejuvenate Monteith Park. And the third is to develop a community garden. So if you can choose your priority, what would you choose out of developing walking and cycle paths, improving Monteith Park, and 3, developing a community garden? If you can comment now, that would be good. Okay, so like before, we're going to give you a chance to have a second vote on that. So what would your second priority be? Would it be to improve the bus service? Oh no, would it be to develop walking and cycle paths, improve the park, or develop a garden? Okay, I'll give you another few seconds for people who want to vote on outdoor space. So the last category is community resources. People who have lived in Carstairs Junction or are new to the junction feel that at times that there's a lack of community resources. So we know that there's the Londis shop and the hairdresser and the hall. The hall has been noted as perhaps needing a bit more of an upgrade to make it more accessible to community groups. But also the thing that came fast and furious through the survey and the focus groups is the lack of a community cafe in the area. And that's something that the Welcome Hall Hub in particular are quite keen to develop. But the survey and also the feedback at the Ceilidh and the focus groups also told us that you would like to see more accessible groups. And they include not just things for young people and the elderly, but also things like a men's shed and also a service that can help with befriending and volunteering. And the third area there is for people to think about the opportunities to share their own resources and skills. One gentleman said in his survey that he is from the building trade and he would very much like to share those skills with younger people to help them gain confidence and go into the workplace. So there's a real appetite for people wanting to share their skills. So this is your chance to now vote on the community resources. So you need to choose between a community cafe, accessible groups, and also the opportunity to share skills and resources. I'll try and hold those in front of me. So choose 1, a community cafe, 2, a range of accessible groups, or 3, the opportunity to share resources and skills. And once you've done that, there's then the invitation for you to post your second choice. So if you pop that down on your comment on Facebook to tell us what your second choice would be. So, have you any other thoughts? Is there anything that has sprung to mind that you would like to tell us? Especially if you're new to this process and you haven't had the chance to attend a focus group or fill out a survey. There is still time, and we would welcome the range of views about what you would like to see in Carstairs Junction. So if you do, please use the Facebook page to share your comments and say what's important to you. So the next steps, so as part of the whole process as well, you'll be very much aware that we ran a photographic competition. The photos were taken in and around in Carstairs Junction, and we had an over 16 and under 16 category. These photos are to be used in the action plan when it's all written up and the graphics put into place. So I'm absolutely delighted to be able to tell you that we had a winner for both categories, who both have won an Amazon voucher for £50. And for the under 16s category, it's Chelsea Davidson. And for the over 16s category, it's David Wardrop White. Now we're going to post all the entries, but especially the winning photographs on Facebook, on social media and online for you to see. But I'm going to see if you can perhaps see the winning photographs now. Okay, so a huge congratulations to Chelsea and to David, but also thank you very much for all the children and adults who submitted photographs to the competition. So the next steps, what we're going to do next then? Well, we're going to bring together all the views and feedback and put it in a report. We need to agree that report and the actions with the steering group, then get it published. Now, it's really important that this report and the action plan is realistic and achievable, and that has to be the case so that the people of Carstairs Junction and the people who support the junction and the area can then get organised in order to undertake the activities. So it is a 5-year plan. So not everything might happen in year 1. It'll be phased perhaps over the 5 years, but it'll help to bring people together and respond to some of the priorities that you have identified. So we'll be working on the report next week, but this Facebook Live video will still be live on the website and can be shared and go onto YouTube. So there could be lots of people, for whatever reason, not able to have been here today at the virtual tea. So we still want them to be able to say what their priorities are. So you can phone me at any time during office hours 9 to 5 up until Friday the 3rd of June at 3rd of April at 12 noon, and you can phone me on 07898 983 931. And my email address is lynda@communityenterprise.co.uk. But you don't need to rush and get a pen to write that down, because we'll make sure that those contact details are widely available and will be online. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much for taking time out on this sunny but cold Sunday afternoon. And I appreciate things are very, very difficult for everybody at the moment, what with lockdown and people staying at home. But I do hope that you have been able to engage as part of this process. And if you haven't been able to today, you know, to be able to give me a phone or leave messages on Facebook going forward. So that just leaves me to say, go and make yourself a cup of tea, have a cake, and sit down and chat with your family about the Carstairs Junction Community Action Plan. Okay, thank you and bye.